Most people think memory loss is just part of aging, but that's not true. Your brain can stay sharp for decades if you take the right steps. The problem? Most people aren't doing them. And if you like the video, remember to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. Today, we'll cover 8 science-backed ways to keep your brain strong well into your 80s and beyond. Let's start. 1. You don't challenge your brain enough. Your brain is like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. The moment you stop learning, thinking, and solving problems, your brain starts to slow down. Scientists have found that people who stop mentally challenging themselves experience memory loss much faster than those who keep their minds active. Think of it like this: if you never exercise, your muscles weaken. The same happens to your brain. Neurons need stimulation to stay strong, and when you stop engaging them, they shrink, making it harder to remember, focus, and process information. One retired doctor in his late 70s shared his experience on a medical forum. He had always been sharp, but after retiring, he stopped reading medical journals, debating ideas, and learning new things. Over time, he noticed small lapses, forgetting where he put his keys, struggling to recall names, taking longer to process information. It scared him. Determined to fight back, he picked up a new language and started playing strategy games. At first, it was frustrating. He forgot words quickly and struggled to keep up. But within a few months, he saw a remarkable improvement. His recall speed increased, his focus sharpened, and he felt mentally alive again. The good news? You don't need to learn a whole new language to keep your brain sharp. Even small mental challenges can have a huge impact. Studies show that reading, playing puzzles, learning an instrument, and solving math problems can significantly reduce the risk of cognitive decline. Brain scans of people who engage in these activities show stronger neural connections and better memory retention compared to those who don't. So, what does this mean for you? When was the last time you learned something new? Do you regularly challenge your brain, or are you stuck in the same routine? If you never push your brain, it gets weaker. But if you stimulate it with learning, it stays sharp, fast, and strong, even after 80. What's one new skill or hobby you've been meaning to try? 2. You sit too much. Sitting for long hours is one of the worst things you can do for your brain. Studies show that people who sit too much have smaller brains, weaker memory, and a higher risk of dementia. Most people think of sitting as a harmless habit. After all, it's just sitting, right? But the reality is, when you sit too much, blood flow to the brain slows down, reducing the oxygen and nutrients your brain needs to function properly. A woman in her early 80s shared her experience in a senior health group. After retiring, she spent most of her time watching TV, reading, and relaxing indoors. At first, she enjoyed the break from work, but within a few years, she noticed something strange. Her focus weakened, her memory felt foggy, and simple tasks like following a conversation or remembering appointments became harder. She also found herself feeling tired all the time, even though she wasn't doing anything exhausting. When she visited her doctor, the cause shocked her: lack of movement. The doctor explained that long periods of sitting weaken circulation, slow down brain function, and increase inflammation, all of which lead to faster cognitive decline. Determined to change, she started taking short walks every hour. She also began using a standing desk for reading and stretching while watching TV. Within weeks, she noticed a difference. Her mental fog started to clear, she felt more energetic, and her memory improved. The science backs this up. Studies show that even if you exercise daily, sitting for more than 8 hours can still damage your brain. Researchers found that people who break up long sitting periods with short movement breaks have better memory, faster thinking, and a lower risk of Alzheimer's. So what can you do? Set a reminder to stand up every 30 minutes. Take short walks throughout the day. Stretch while watching TV. Try chair exercises if mobility is an issue. Even a few minutes of movement per hour can drastically reduce your risk of memory loss and cognitive decline. How many hours a day do you think you spend sitting? 3. You're not getting enough sleep. Many people believe they can function just fine on 5 or 6 hours of sleep. Some even wear it like a badge of honor, proud that they don't need much rest. But science says otherwise. Lack of sleep is one of the biggest threats to brain health. Studies show that consistently getting less than 7 hours of sleep increases the risk of Alzheimer's, dementia, and cognitive decline. Why? Because sleep is when your brain cleans itself. Every night, your brain clears out waste products and toxins that build up throughout the day. If you don't get enough rest, those toxins accumulate, damaging neurons and increasing the risk of memory loss. A retired teacher in her late 70s shared her story. She spent decades sleeping just 5 hours a night, thinking she was functioning normally. But as she aged, she started experiencing chronic fatigue, forgetfulness, and mood swings. She brushed it off as just getting older. Then she read about the link between sleep and brain health and decided to make a change. She started going to bed 1 hour earlier, eliminated screens before sleep, and made her bedroom darker and quieter. Within a few weeks, she noticed something incredible. Her energy returned, her focus improved, and her memory felt sharper. Scientists have proven this link time and time again. One study found that sleeping less than 6 hours a night in your 50s and 60s increases the risk of dementia by 30%. The good news? It's never too late to fix this. Simple changes like setting a consistent bedtime, even on weekends. Avoiding screens before bed. Blue light disrupts sleep hormones. Keeping your room cool, dark, and quiet. Limiting caffeine in the afternoon can dramatically improve your sleep quality and protect your brain. Think about it. Are you getting enough sleep? Or are you letting bad sleep habits steal your mental clarity? 4. Your diet is damaging your brain. Most people focus on how diet affects weight, but what about how it affects your brain? The truth is, what you eat directly impacts memory, focus, and long-term cognitive health. Diets high in processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats lead to inflammation in the brain, increasing the risk of Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. A man in his late 70s learned this the hard way. He had spent most of his life eating fast food, sugary snacks, and processed meats. Over time, he noticed his thinking became slower, he had trouble remembering conversations, and he often felt mentally foggy. When he finally saw a neurologist, the doctor asked about his diet. The answer was clear: his eating habits were aging his brain. Determined to turn things around, he cut back on processed foods and started eating more berries, packed with antioxidants that protect brain cells. Leafy greens, high in vitamins that slow cognitive decline. Nuts and seeds, rich in omega-3s that boost brain function. Whole grains, fuel the brain with steady energy. Within months, he noticed a difference. His focus improved, his memory sharpened, and he felt mentally clearer than he had in years. The research supports this. A study found that people who follow a plant-based Mediterranean diet, rich in whole foods, have a 30% lower risk of cognitive decline compared to those who eat processed foods. If you're eating a diet high in junk food, sugary drinks, or processed snacks, now is the time to make a change. What does your diet look like? Are you feeding your brain or starving it? 5. You're constantly stressed. Most people think of stress as just an emotional burden, but the truth is, chronic stress physically damages the brain. Long-term stress increases cortisol levels, which shrink the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory and learning. Studies show that people who experience constant worry, anxiety, or pressure in their 50s and 60s have a higher risk of cognitive decline in their later years. And if you like the video, remember to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. A businessman in his early 80s shared his story. He had spent decades under immense financial and work-related stress, always pushing himself harder. He never considered how it might be affecting his brain until he started forgetting things. First, it was small lapses, like misplacing his wallet. Then, he started struggling to remember names and conversations. When he visited a doctor, the results shocked him. His brain scans showed signs of early cognitive decline. His doctor explained that years of unchecked stress had contributed to inflammation and neuron damage, accelerating memory loss. Determined to change, he began practicing daily stress management. Deep breathing exercises every morning. Taking breaks throughout the day. Spending time in nature. Engaging in prayer and meditation. Within a few months, he noticed an incredible difference. His memory improved, his focus returned, and his mental fog lifted. The science backs this up. Chronic stress causes brain shrinkage, weakens connections between neurons, and increases the risk of dementia and Alzheimer's. But the good news? Reducing stress can reverse some of the damage. If you're feeling overwhelmed, ask yourself, do you take time to relax and recharge? Are you letting daily stress eat away at your brain health? What's one small change you can make today to manage stress better? 6. You don't socialize enough. Loneliness isn't just emotionally painful, it's deadly. Research shows that social isolation increases the risk of dementia by 50%. In fact, loneliness is as harmful to your brain as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. The reason? Humans are wired for connection. Engaging in conversations, sharing experiences, and feeling a sense of belonging keeps the brain active and sharp. Without social interaction, cognitive decline happens much faster. A woman in her early 80s shared her experience. After her husband passed away, she withdrew from social activities, spending most of her time alone at home. Over time, she noticed her memory slipping, her mood darkening, and her motivation disappearing. When she visited a doctor, she was shocked to learn that her loneliness was physically affecting her brain. The doctor encouraged her to reconnect with people, so she started small. She joined a book club, called Old Friends, and even volunteered at a local charity. Within weeks, she felt a shift, her mood improved, her energy increased, and her memory became sharper. Science confirms this. Studies of centenarians, people who live past 100, show that strong social bonds are a key factor in keeping the mind sharp. People who stay connected with friends, family, and community retain memory and cognitive function much longer than those who isolate themselves. If you're spending too much time alone, consider calling a friend or family member today. Joining a group, class, or activity. Volunteering in your community. When was the last time you had a real, meaningful conversation? Who in your life can you reach out to today? 7. You skip health checkups. Many people avoid regular doctor visits, thinking, if I feel fine, I must be fine. But the truth is, some of the biggest threats to brain health, high blood pressure, diabetes, and vitamin deficiencies, can silently damage your brain for years before symptoms appear. By the time memory problems show up, it's often too late to undo the damage. That's why regular checkups are one of the easiest ways to protect your brain. A man in his early 70s learned this the hard way. He had always been in good health, so he skipped annual checkups. He felt fine until he started experiencing random brain fog, trouble concentrating, and occasional memory lapses. When he finally went to the doctor, he discovered that he had untreated high blood pressure. His doctor explained that prolonged high blood pressure reduces blood flow to the brain, slowly killing brain cells. Over time, this can lead to vascular dementia, a preventable form of memory loss caused by poor circulation. Had he caught it earlier, he could have taken simple steps to manage it, like exercising, eating a healthier diet, and taking medication if needed. But because he waited, his brain had already suffered years of silent damage. The same happens with diabetes, high cholesterol, and vitamin B12 deficiencies, all of which can lead to memory loss if left untreated. The good news? Catching these issues early can prevent long-term brain damage. A few essential tests to consider. Blood pressure checks. High blood pressure damages blood vessels in the brain. Blood sugar tests. Uncontrolled diabetes increases the risk of Alzheimer's. Vitamin B12 levels. A B12 deficiency can cause memory loss and confusion. Cholesterol screenings. High cholesterol contributes to poor brain circulation. Ignoring your health won't make problems disappear, it just gives them more time to grow. When was the last time you had a full health checkup? Are you taking care of your body before symptoms appear? 8. You lack a sense of purpose. One of the most overlooked factors in long-term brain health isn't just physical, it's having a reason to wake up every morning. Studies show that people who have a sense of purpose live longer, stay mentally sharper, and experience less cognitive decline. Think about the difference between two retirees. One spends his days engaged, volunteering, learning new skills, mentoring younger people. His brain stays active, stimulated, and strong. The other feels lost after retirement, spends most of his time watching TV, with no real goals or excitement. His brain begins to slow down from lack of stimulation. A retired engineer in his 80s shared his story. When he first stopped working, he felt restless and unfulfilled. He noticed his memory wasn't as sharp, and he lacked motivation. But instead of letting retirement define him, he found new ways to challenge himself. He started gardening, mentoring young professionals, and even took up painting. Within a few months, he felt mentally sharper, happier, and more fulfilled than ever before. Science supports this. Studies show that people with hobbies, community involvement, and personal goals have lower rates of dementia and better overall health. If you feel lost or uninspired, ask yourself, what excites you? What new skills or hobbies interest you? How can you contribute to your community or family? Even small changes, learning something new, volunteering, or setting personal goals, can make a huge difference in keeping your mind sharp. What's one thing you can do this week to create more purpose in your life? And if you like the video, remember to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell.